Hello, everyone. I'm Frank Jernigan, also known as Phrancko, spelled Phrancko. And I run the website, Phrancko.com, where you can generate a sweater pattern that is custom fit to your size using your own yarn and needles without having to match someone else's gauge. And with that, here is the weekly meeting of the Phrancko Sweater Knitters. But we're welcoming all knitters actually, and it's especially nice if you're interested in knitting a Phrancko sweater or have knitted one. You're welcome to join us in any case and show us what you're working on. Hi, Susan.
Hello, I'm wearing my Phrancko sweater today.
Oh, you can show us in a few
Yay.
minutes.
Yeah.
Excellent. Hi, Sandra.
Hello.
Hi, Debbie.
Hello, everyone.
I see another Phrancko sweater. Hi, Sumner.
Hi.
Hi, Sidra.
Hi, Frank.
Hi, Maggie.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Cindy.
Hi, Frank.
Hi, Sung.
Hi, everyone.
So nice to have you all here again. And how was your week? Did you get a lot of knitting done?
Not much, but it was a good week.
Why don't you show us your sweater, Susan?
Well, let's see. I guess get up close and see that how lovely the sleeve fits,
Oh,
and maybe stand up a little bit.
uh-huh.
You can see.
Oh,
Oh,
look at the
beautiful.
Oh, I
beautiful
like that. Such
lace
a
work you
delight.
added to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What yarn did you use?
It's Classic Elite, and it's discontinued. I think it was Adelaide, but I'm not sure. And I can't wear it very often. Obviously, it gets pretty warm here for a worsted weight yarn. And this is a light worsted, but it's still fairly warm to wear. But it's a good February sweater.
And are you happy with your Phrancko sweater?
I am, and I get so many compliments whenever I wear it.
Oh, nice.
I wore it to a knitting group this week, and everybody was like, "Oh, how do you get the shoulders to fit?" And I'm like, we that discussion, of course, continued with, you have to take measurements and you have to not lie to yourself about your measurements. And I mean, that's the base. If you don't take a good measurement, it's not going to fit.
That's true. Though you can push them if you want to change the shape of the sweater. Like if you want a wider neckline, you can say you've got a thicker neck than you actually have.
Right. I think
Or
most of the women in my group are going with the saying they have a smaller some part of body than they have.
I see. That's a different subject.
And then wondering why things aren't fitting.
That reminds me, I don't know who, maybe one of you has told the Chicago Guild about me, and they've invited me to do a presentation to the Guild on
Oh,
April
how
8th. Oh, is
nice.
that you, Sung?
Yes.
Thank you
Yes.
so much for that. I'm so honored
I
that they asked.
I was so blown away by your system and your sweaters, and I said, you have to have him in our guild meeting. And yeah, we were thrilled. We are absolutely thrilled.
Oh, well, I'm so happy to do it. I'm so glad you did that for me. And
Oh no. No, thank you. Thank you for agreeing to it.
oh, sure.
So you
I'm
live in
always happy to
Chicago?
give presentations. I don't often get asked.
Oh no, you kidding. No, you
No.
well,
Yes.
I'm currently living in New York now, but my permanent home is in Chicago.
Oh,
I see.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So
When I first started the Phrancko website, actually, I think before it was up and running, I went to a TKGA weekend conference and showed everybody the concept and Suzanne Bryan got immediately interested And once the website was up, she invited me to come to Bakersfield and hold a weekend seminar showing her, the entire guild, how to take measurements
Oh, wow.
and fit the sweater, and to begin the construction and guide them through the top part of the construction, which is the only complicated part of the sweater. And that was just a delightful weekend. It was I think, Friday evening and all day Saturday. And it was just a great experience, and it launched the whole experience of the website. Sometime after that, she invited me to do a knit along with her that lasted about 6 weeks, where she had her entire group do a knit along of a Phrancko sweater.
Yeah.
So Suzanne Bryan has done a great deal to help get the word out about the Phrancko sweater pattern, and I really appreciate that. And I appreciate what you did, Sung, and I appreciate anybody who promotes the website or
Thank you.
just tells people about it. It's wonderful. Thank you.
It was the YouTube videos of you and Susan with the knit along that I found you.
Suzanne, yes.
Suzanne.
Suzanne, yes.
Yeah.
That's how I found you too, but just in the interview that you did with her.
Same here, the interview.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think that was when she was doing them live, wasn't it?
Yes.
I saw a recording.
The knit along, I think, was live originally.
Yeah, I saw the recording.
Yeah. I think Cindy and I both found you through the knit along.
We did early on.
Yeah. That's when we signed up.
So what I'm hearing is, without Suzanne Bryan's help, nobody would be here.
And we'd all have holes under our arms for our sweater. Because we wouldn't have heard about your method.
Well, I see Ron sneaking in. Hello, Ron.
Hi, Ron.
Hello.
How's the play going?
You know, it's going better than I could have anticipated. People are incredibly excited. We've been having sold out houses, and
Wow.
I guess Pride and Prejudice means a lot to people.
No.
I don't know if you saw the thumbnail I did that showed your picture in this dress for the play and the hat that you wore, knitted for it.
Yes. You know, it's a funny thing, but that hat gets a huge audience reaction.
That's great.
That's the power of knitting.
Yes. Well, I will start with what I managed to accomplish finally, is to finish a pair of socks.
Yay.
Yay.
And here they are.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
It's
just
so pretty the way the
Nice
the colors go,
Very
just
nice.
with the little dots and
Let me
dithering,
share
I
my
guess.
screen and show you pictures of them that actually will show it better.
very
Did that
cool.
work?
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice legs.
Yeah, I had a professional
Looking at
foot
socks,
model come
Sumner.
over.
Foot model.
No, I was the foot model. Oh, there, I wanted to show the heel
Yeah.
Wow.
that matches
That's
the
pretty.
toe.
And so how many different colors was that, Frank?
There's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
No,
I can see 6.
yeah, I thought it looked like 6, but
Some are prominent and some are receding.
yeah.
The one, but the blue at the heel is next, and the green above it, there's another color in between that almost disappears.
Right.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
So that's part of what I've been up to this week. And then after that, I started experimenting again with short row color work.
Mhm.
I keep going back to it and thinking you can do more with that. So I decided to try a geometric design. This is not any item that I'm knitting. It's a test piece to see if I could do this design. And
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Oh,
it's done with short rows. It's diamonds, and then I'll complete the other diamond at the top. So it'll be diamonds nested inside diamonds.
Mm.
And I thought this alone could be a pattern for a sock, or I could extend it farther around and put something like that around the chest of a sweater.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I could also modify the diamonds to be other shapes to just see how that works. But I'll show you the chart that guided it, if I can find it here. Where's Stitch Fiddle? Oh no, don't be hard to find. There it is. I accidentally drew on the chart. Okay, let's share the screen again. This is the chart I worked from. And um, the way I do color work is I design the shapes I want in a chart like this. And then I figure out the path that the yarn needs to travel in order to fill those shapes. And as you can see, the brown that's shown here in green and blue, that's all brown in between the two rows of diamonds. And that's difficult to fill with short rows. But I figured out how to do it based on this chart. And then I turned the chart into instructions by marking the number where each row starts and goes back to. So the pattern ends up um, looking like pairs of numbers.
Mm.
Um, Let me see if I can just show you a piece of that. There.
Mm.
Um, and well, I don't want to complicate things too much. But anyway, this is how I write a pattern for short row color work. And I actually published two patterns using this notation. At first, I didn't know if cast on would allow a totally unique way of describing how to knit something. And Arinda said, "Oh yeah, people have alternate methods all the time." So they published a scarf called the Color Fun scarf and the Archangel Wing shawl that used this technique. And it's basically you knit on the right side till you number all of the stitches, and you put markers every 10 stitches. And so the stitches are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, marker 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So this says knit to stitch 31 on the right side. That's this first row here. Knit to stitch number 31, do a short row turn, and then knit back to stitch number 2. Then do a short row turn and knit to stitch number 30, do a short row turn, and then knit back to stitch number 3. And so that's how the pattern reads. And that, if you follow those instructions, it will guide you through how to fill all of those areas piece by piece in the chart that you saw.
What method are you doing for the turn?
That's a good question. Um, and I'm very happy to say I've become thrilled with the twin stitch
Oh,
turn.
oh,
I learned about it doing the
Uh-huh.
fish lips kiss heel, which I also did in the toe. This is simply a fish lips kiss heel that you start at one side, you do the whole heel that goes up and over the top and back to the other side, and then you're left with an open hole right across there, and you Kitchener stitch it together.
Oh, wow.
Um, and the construction of the toe then is exactly like the construction of the heel, stitch for stitch, exactly the same. And it worked beautifully. So I decided to use that as my short row technique, and I just love the way it worked out. Look,
Mm.
using the
I haven't seen that in not in garter stitch, so that's interesting. Yeah.
you've seen it. This is
No,
not garter stitch.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah.
And the other side looks really neat too.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Very good. Wow.
Oh, now I'm excited about short row color work. I have to see what I can do with that again.
Very good.
Wow.
So what kind of shape is accomplished after all those short rows?
What
Like-
kind of what?
Is the short rows in the round?
I don't know
Or
what you're asking.
is it short rows flat, back and forth?
Yeah, I'll show you. Spotlight. Where did it go? There. Boy, they move those things around. In the yellow, for instance, you start. Oh, I can't do it because I can't point. My finger, everything's back.
Oh, it is in the round. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, it's all in the round.
Oh, okay.
The short row goes 2 stitches across the bottom and then 4 stitches across the above it, and it's just back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. But that's after I've knitted this brown area. I've knit the brown area
Wow.
first.
Oh.
So those rows go from what will be one diamond to the other and back, essentially. And then when I've done all of that, I knit down this diagonal. All of this is brown when I'm working it. And then I start doing them across here, back and forth, until that area is filled. Once I've done brown, I've got, in this case, 2 mounds of brown, one on each side.
Yeah.
I begin the yellow work in the band here.
Mhm.
Knit across it down the one side of the diagonal, and then I start doing them back and forth across.
Oh, so you're picking up down.
So the short row turns are at the
Okay.
edges of the diamond in both brown and then yellow.
Oh, and then it fills it out and it gives it a regular cylinder shape.
Yes.
Okay, I get it. Couldn't wrap my brain around it for a minute there, but I got it.
I'll get it.
Remarkable.
I'm still trying to wrap my brain around it.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, try. I have to.
I need a roadmap, like one of those little
Well-
cars like this, and then it went down the hill, and then it came up.
I'm with you.
That's really how I designed it. And you don't have to be able to design it to follow the instructions. All you have to be able to do is know how to knit to stitch number 35 and do a short row turn and knit back to purl back to stitch number 2, if that's what it calls for. And you just do what the instruction says, and it will guide you to do those things that I just described.
It's like a novel way to knit a cylinder.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty novel. That's pretty remarkable.
I did it it could be done flat too, but I did it as a cylinder because I was thinking this might be the basis of doing a sock, but I didn't want to do it I didn't want to knit a sock and find out I couldn't do it, do the whole ribbing and everything. And then I just grabbed some yarn off of my stash and decided to use it. And I wanted to use a larger yarn than I would use for a sock, so I could see the stitches better.
Yeah, you could almost like create Argyle that way.
Yeah, you could
That's pretty cool.
double stitch across, not double stitch. What's it called?
Twin stitch.
Twin stitch? What's it called? When you
Oh, yeah, duplicate stitch.
duplicate stitch.
Oh.
Duplicate stitch.
Duplicate stitch it.
So tell me what you were doing when you started thinking about this. Like, outside and you thought, hey, if I do all these short rows and
Yes.
that was the
Well, it was all the way back in about 2018 I got interested in what you could do with short row color work. And that's when I designed that scarf and that shawl, and they didn't get published until years later. I did them while I was in the middle of my working for my master's certificate. I just suddenly got interested in short row color work and went off and experimented with it and designed those two things and then put them aside. And then years later, I had the nerve to ask if I could publish using this strange notation. So the next two issues had those two garments in them.
that is crazy good.
I should probably show you those two garments since I've talked about them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're exquisite. And didn't Cindy make one of those?
Jenny did. Jenny made something.
I'm about a third of the way.
Cindy,
through
you
the
did the
scarf.
color front scarf, didn't you?
I started on the scarf. I'm about a third of the way through. And then I started really being serious about doing the masquerade knitters. And stuff just got set to the side.
So here's the scarf.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I remember that now. That's gorgeous.
Mhm.
Whoa.
Yeah, wow.
How do you get back?
Oh my gosh. Where's that one?
Here's the Archangel Wing shawl.
Yes.
It's beautiful. Whoa.
And then you just sit there and think of this is humbling, Frank.
I just started thinking, well, what can you do with
That's
these
humbling.
short rows?
Yeah, you're something else.
So do you think it, is your creativeness in 3D?
In 3D?
When I'm thinking about things that I want to do, it's like, it's not knitting flat, but it's, I'm not thinking as form like this. I'm thinking a flat diagram on a flat piece of fabric, right? Like knit some purl.
I think that's what I'm usually doing.
You're swirling around.
But it was flat. I mean, both of those are flat.
Not my kind of flat.
The way you do the sleeves on the Phrancko.
Oh, well, when you're talking about this sweater, of course, I had to think more in 3D, but how to design the shape. But really all I was doing was designing how to knit the flat pieces that I had seen my mother sew when she sewed a shirt with set-in sleeves. I learned by watching my mother sew that the set-in sleeves had a bell-shaped curve at the top. And then, of course, I saw some other patterns that knitting patterns that also had that. But so really, I was still designing flat. I was just trying to figure out how to fit the pieces together that would otherwise be flat if they weren't already connected without any seams.
I think that's 3D.
Maybe so.
I would put you in 3D. Yeah, I put you out of flat. You're not in the flat group anymore.
Well, I don't feel like I do anything any knitter couldn't do that's been knitting for a while.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
Me too.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
As he
I'm
says,
a flat earther compared to you, okay?
Right?
Yeah.
yeah.
I come here to, I love the company. What a great group of people. But I learned so much just knitting along, having
There's
casual
such a wealth of knowledge
conversation.
here. Yes.
It's really remarkable. So I really
I
enjoy
learn a
it.
lot too. I learn so much from all of you. And then I get ideas and then I explore them. And it's really
And that's the
love
difference between
interacting
you
with
and the
other
rest of the
knitters.
world.
I will tell you, just starting, I am just in awe of this because I now think about when I go to the store and I see garments, I start to think about just how, especially if it's a knitted garment, I start to think about, wow, somebody actually had a creative mind and actually thought of that. And it just makes me, being in this community just makes me just in awe of what I hope to be.
Well, you certainly can be.
And I know that I wish I had had knitting communities like the ones I'm in now when I was learning to knit, because when you just knit with your family, all you know is what your family, how they knit. And
Right.
it's eye-opening when you start to see all the other ways of knitting.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I started coming here, Rendell, and my knitting like took off.
Oh no, go
What I
get it.
hope to be.
A flight to nowhere.
Sandra will tell you, I just came, I says, I've been shopping.
She's been yarn shopping.
That's our girl.
You see the glow. You see the glow on her.
That's fun.
And the thing of it, I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not afraid to try it.
Good.
Yay.
You can always rip it out.
Oh my goodness,
now
Ron.
I'm
What
not
did you
afraid
what
to
do you
try
have
it.
on?
Yeah.
Look at Ron. Look at Ron.
Ron, what are you doing?
Is there a night
Oh,
play
I
coming up?
love it.
No,
Looks like a knight's
I-
hood.
Oh, minute
This
Camelot.
is My Dear Lamb by Hirose Midori.
Oh, okay.
I've just finished the ears.
Oh.
Oh my.
So I just Kitchenered the last ear. And so now I'm seeing where I want my ears on my sheep hat. What do you think?
That's great.
And then
You know,
Up higher.
Up
up
higher.
no, not
No,
that.
no, not that high.
That's horns.
oh,
At
I
your
like
temples.
that.
No,
At your
that
temples.
looks like a
Top of your
that looks
ears.
like something.
Yeah,
There-
at your temple.
there you
Yeah,
go.
there you
That's
go.
good.
Okay. I'm gonna pin this on and then we'll see where it is.
Now
Are you
you're
a
my-
South
yeah,
Down baby doll?
that's
Or Corriedale? Or
I think I'm a
Bobby
valet.
Ray?
What kind of yarn did you use?
This is Alba Aaron by bleh, bleh.
What the sound the sheep makes.
This is Alba Aaron by Jody Long. And the black accent for my face and ears is Andiamo Light that I had a skein of that was wound up.
Okay.
So nice woolly things to be a nice woolly sheep.
Mm-hmm.
Ron, can you share that pattern?
Yes. There are 3 versions of it. There's a young, like small head person, child.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, they
Um,
call them
you know,
child
small head people.
A kid.
Yeah, a kidlet.
Yes, a lamb, and then an in-between size and a large adult size. This is the biggest that they come in of the largest pattern to fit my giant head. But I will stick the pattern I was using as a link. It's by in case you don't recognize the name, she's a prolific designer. Her most famous pattern is probably the ranunculus.
Oh, yeah.
My Sweet Lamb. No, that's for babies. The cover photo is a very interested looking man who does not seem to resent his sheep hat at all. You should check it out.
He was a good sport, huh?
Just enough to qualify. Cheap. Oh no, what have I done? I took my hat off before I pinned the ear on.
Uh-oh.
Okay,
You'll
back
have
we
to
go.
watch the video to see where it goes.
I know it goes at the top of my ear. I just forgot where the top of my ear is. So I've just been doing small projects lately, although there is a sweater on the needles in my backpack that I lied to myself about working on and take it everywhere with me.
Yeah.
But, I can do this at intermission or between scenes, so it goes with me to the theater. Mr. Bennett disappears for most of Act 2 while everyone's in Kent.
How long is the play running?
We have one woolen spun. We have one more weekend after this. So tomorrow is a matinee. My parents are coming into town with some of their friends. And then one more weekend after that, presuming we don't extend. But at the rate the ticket sales have been, we may well extend.
Oh, nice.
Which is gratifying.
Well, I finished my Ewan sweater, E-U-N. Do not know how to pronounce that. Ewan or Ewan. Does anyone
Some?
And, see this?
Oh.
Oh,
pretty.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
yeah.
beautiful.
Nice.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
So I practiced with my bind off. And at first I had the tubular on the back, and that was all wavy. And then I did a standard bind off, but the ribbing is 2x2. And when I was at the purls, I put 2 purls together on one bind off, and that kept it from flaring. I think I still have some flaring in the back, but I haven't blocked this yet because we have a short window, I think, of winter ahead of us. And I didn't think it would dry. So I had all ready to wear to work on, I think it was Wednesday. Because I didn't have to wear a suit that day. And then the ice came and I had to stay home. So I couldn't wear my sweater.
Do you have a link to that pattern that you could put in the chat?
I do. I'll put that in there.
Okay. And what yarn did you use?
This is Rowan Alpaca Soft DK.
Ooh,
And it was so, but I held it with Rowan mohair, but it's a variegated mohair that's giving it all of these different shadings in here.
Oh.
But I did that because I had knit up something in this as a sample and like a small accessory, and it was so stretchy. I thought by the time I knit a sweater, it's going to lose all its shape. And so I put the mohair in it to help it retain its shape, not still keeps it drape, but not be saggy. So I've had it on for 2 hours, and I'll report back later about how it.
And that mohair, Sandra, is going to help stop the alpaca from killing.
Oh, will it?
Yep.
Well, it's chilly outside, and with the wind, it's cold. It's not pleasant. So right before we started, I took the dogs for a walk and I wore this and I wore my husband's alpaca sweater that I made him. It's a cardigan. And I felt like a sheep outside. I think it was alpaca and wool cap on or whatever. But it was so warm. I couldn't even feel, except where my jeans were. The rest of it
Alpaca is warm.
Remind us where you are.
in outside of Oklahoma City, a suburb of Oklahoma City. And I don't know what is it. Anyway, for us it's cold. With the wind blowing, etc.
It's cold.
Yeah. I probably look like a yarn ball, but it was okay, out there in the neighborhood. So I was excited, and now I'm still working on Andy's, my son-in-law's Phrancko sweater, but I need to start the sleeves, and so I'm winding up my yarn, and I use a Nostepinne to wind my yarn with.
Huh.
And I tell the main reason is I don't want to own all that equipment. Get everything, that little electric thing that winds it up, the ball wind. I'd rather buy yarn. So but I've enjoyed it. I learned about this from Fleece and Harmony from that podcast, and it makes super lovely yarn balls that do not collapse as you take them apart. Yeah.
Can you demonstrate it on the camera? How
Yes.
you wind it?
You
No,
just
show us how you wind it. How do you work it?
okay. So you just turn it and you just gently rotate it. And that's all you do. And as the bottom is a little bit thicker than the top. And I bought this off of Amazon, and I bought another packet from Amazon that's 3 of them but they're skinny. I think that would be good if your yarn was thin, but if your yarn is thicker, I really liked this one better. And then Fleece and Harmony, they have like an amazing one, but I was too frugal to buy that one. So this yarn's just fine. And I just use it as a get to know my yarn time, before I start knitting it. And one thing I did appreciate is as I'm winding up my yarn, it takes like 15 minutes or something. But if I run into a spot on the yarn that's a split or a knot or something like that, I can go ahead and take care of that instead of when I was knitting up with my Rowan yarn, I'd knit along and then all of a sudden I have this join that I have to tink back, undo, weave in. I had no notice that was coming. And so it happened right over here and I'd have to go back because I wanted all of my yarn ends to be on my edges. I didn't want any of them in the front or the back of my sweater. So anyways, it takes longer, but you do get to know your yarn. We are buds by the time we're done.
You're familiar with every inch of it after that.
Yeah, that's fun.
It does help me understand my yarn. So I like it a lot. Yeah.
And what is that bar called?
A Nostepinne, and let me get on my iPad and figure that out.
Okay.
I am picking up 249 stitches along one side of my blanket.
Oh my God.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yay. Oh boy.
With 47-inch number 2s.
Oh.
Did it tell you how many you had to pick up? Or
Oh, yeah.
Just decided. Okay.
There's a chart.
Oh, okay. So you know how many you have to pick up from each one.
Yeah. And I put a stitch holder in the center of each one so I can go half and half.
That's a good idea.
So I can count and I make sure that I know, there's a yellow one there. You can't see it because it's yellow.
But that you know that you got
Yeah.
the right amount.
My goodness, this is my finish in February project. This needs to be out of my house and in the post office. I've loved it, but I'm done.
Ready to move on to its new home.
Couldn't be happier with it though. Like, it's so cool.
Gorgeous.
Really is something else.
So which new technique did you like the best and would you want to use in a sweater?
She does a lot of texture knitting, and I guess I guess lace work, because the love hearts are, and there's 6 of them. They're all lace.
Oh, that's pretty. Yeah.
And I'd never really done lace work.
That's lovely.
So there's some pretty cool stitches. And I've learned how to get my SSKs very even, so that they're just as even as my knit 2 togethers.
That's a feat.
That was an accomplishment. I feel like I really learned how to do that.
It really is an accomplishment.
It is.
Because that's a tough thing, you know, to have that one solid line of SSK stitches.
So how do you do it?
When you're doing the SSK, do it still traditionally. So don't do anything crazy new.
Right.
But as you slip knitwise and you slip knitwise, and then as you then knit those stitches together, do it very slowly, and you take the back stitch and you kind of retension it to pull just that one back stitch a little bit, and then you knit the next 2 stitches, and it kind of evens it out. So you now have a solid, nice line, and it's still a classic SSK that TKGA would be proud of.
Yeah.
Because you can't go messing with that one. You still got to do it.
That's right.
I think they probably,
mine.
that's the one
mine
they probably give you a
so
little leeway on, you know? But just doing it over and over and over again, I can see how they progressively got better. And it's a baby's blanket. I don't really care that some are less perfect. But boy, those last couple, really proud of. So anyway.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
If you were designing a sweater for men and you wanted to use lace work, how would you do that? Can you think of anything that would be something that a man would want to wear who's not, not trying to, I don't know.
I would probably put the lace work right before the ribbing, around the rib, around the collar, and around the base.
Yeah.
Probably put lace work there, so it's kind of a design element, but very consistent.
I think.
And maybe something
nothing
geometric.
organic, nothing curvilinear.
Yeah, I wouldn't. For a man, I don't. To have it be masculine, I wouldn't use any botanical shapes or anything in it. I think it makes it.
Men traditionally hate leaves.
It's feminizing, I think.
Yeah.
Very geometric. You know.
Yeah, I think the thing with men, you don't want to see through the sweater.
No. Well,
you know, so I do it as a finishing element. Just my opinion.
I've thought about that from time to time. I've never come up with the right answer for myself, so I haven't knitted a sweater for men that has a lace element in it. I saw that heart you did in your blanket, and I thought, well, what if you just put that heart right here on a sweater?
Yeah, that'd be kind of cute.
That'd be cute.
Yeah, it really is.
Or you could do like those polo sweaters do little like crawfish or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Men hate leaves but love exoskeletons,
Yeah.
traditionally.
What? What did you just say, Ron?
I
Men
said
like
men
bugs.
hate leaves, but they love exoskeletons.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
we're well processing that.
They like bugs.
What you might find inspiring is to just put yourself together a little photo morgue of men's jewelry.
Hmm.
And finding men's rings marketed towards men that have negative space in them may inspire you to like masculine structures of putting holes in things.
Yeah.
Skulls.
Skulls, yes, men love skulls.
Yes. Yes. Do a skull and lace.
And then the last part of your question, Cindy, duplicate stitch was probably the best addition to sweater, although I did it
good.
before.
Okay.
But to kind of really perfect that open stitch and duplicate stitch. So like here, all of the C's are duplicate stitch.
Oh, that's real. You did it really
Oh,
nicely.
wait. Yeah, let me swap.
Yeah, it's real even, really good.
What's duplicate stitch?
All of the letter C's.
Oh,
So they're all open and they're not crossed.
They're open, they're
yes.
not crossed. The stitches are the same size. They're not pulled or weird.
And because of that, I put his initials in the truck in duplicate stitch.
Yeah, no, that's nice.
Wow.
So yeah, as an addition, I think that was probably the favorite thing that I learned to like be better at.
Looks like Ron got his ears in place.
Yay, good.
When I was a child, they had to pin my ears back. I tell you, they were like, I grew into them and then they got really small. My ears didn't grow. But when I was little, my ears stuck out.
Well, I did it. I've had this pattern in my library for I don't know how long.
Oh, that's cute.
Very cute.
Very cute.
Who else has something to show us?
I do.
Yay, Sidra.
So I'm continuing on my
Oh,
double.
wow.
Oh, very good.
That's something else.
So my goal is to finish this pink and green this week, and then I'll start the summer, which is going to be blue and yellow. So that's where I'm at.
The cat and butterfly are really cute.
Thank you.
It is.
I was actually thinking of you, Sidra, when I started these ears because they're double knit.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Gave me an idea for
wear
next
this
year
as
for the
part of
holiday for my my two of my grandkids. One would be a dog and one would be a cat.
Yeah.
And with double knitting, start now. Oh my goodness.
Not on the ears, that'd be easy.
I should have made matching monkey hats for my grandkids. Yeah.
oh, that would be fun.
Oh, and Cindy, you like those spindles. That was, thank you for the email.
It's great. I got one of the magnetic yarn holders that Sumner talked about last week, and it's so much better. I've got the ones with the ball bearings, I've got the balls, I've got the yarn bowls, all that sort of stuff. This one, it feeds off perfectly even. The ones with the ball bearings that I have at the bottom, sometimes if it like pulls out too fast or whatever, it gets stuck around the bottom. This one does not, because it's not attached at the bottom. It's just has the magnet at the top. It works really, really good.
Is that the one we put a link in
Yeah.
last
Yes.
week, or was the week before?
Yeah. And I wondered about, do I get the regular or the extra large size? And I just went in and got the regular. And I think that's what you have too. Sumner.
Yeah.
And it's plenty big. It's
And you
great.
can stack two yarn balls
Yeah,
on top
I
of
think,
each
yeah,
other.
for the regular one, I could put two.
Yeah.
So it should work really good. Well, I can report I have 11 swatches done now and the swatch information sheets, and I'm working on my 12th.
Nice.
Oh,
Very
I'm
good.
very happy.
How many do you have
very
to do,
well.
Cindy?
There's 19 total.
Okay.
And duplicate stitch, I think I can source out to Sumner. And if anybody wants to do a lace doily, I have that one too. So no, really. But I did get the double knitting one done, and that one turned out nice. I was happy with that. And the double knitting one turned out really good. So that was great.
And show
then,
your mosaic too.
Oh yes, the mosaic. I loved how that one turned out. This is the
Oh,
shamrock pattern.
Yeah.
That's great.
And it just well, I'm holding it.
That's so fun.
But
yes. Make sure you
that
put the
just turned
tag
out
on the
great.
right
I
corner.
did put the tag on the right corner. I just didn't hold it up right. But yes, so that one turned out really, really good. And then another one that I just finished this morning, and it's not been blocked, but I love it. I'd never done it, but this was smocking stitch.
Isn't that something?
Oh,
And
yeah.
Nice.
it can stretch really good like that because it's based on 2x2 rib. And then these stitches are done when you're knitting. You actually wrap it. You go through a stitch and then pull a loop through so it's wrapped, and then just kind of continue on. It's really cool. The back looks cool too, but it looks different.
Mhm.
Isn't it neat?
Looks like bamboo.
That's
It
really
does look
cool.
like bamboo. So it's like learning all these new different things that are really cool. And so that's fun. So I'm happy that I got them and that they're working. Here's my other one that all the kids keep touching this one. This is the double brioche, the honeycomb. And that one again is very squishy and really
My favorite washcloths that I made for myself in the shower are a cotton yarn in that pattern, and the texture is perfect.
I would think so. The texture is just gorgeous, and it's pretty on the back, but again, it's one of those that's different. But in the back, to me, it shows a lot more diagonal look.
Yeah.
But in the front, it has all the little, looks like the little honey.
Wow.
It's called a honeycomb, isn't it?
It's called the honeycomb stitch, yeah.
That'd be exquisite in a fisherman's sweater.
I think it really would be. It was really cool. One of the kids said, "Oh, I want you to make me a sweater like this." It's like, I'm finishing level 3 first. No, I didn't do that. And then here is the herringbone stitch. That one, I didn't like this one until I blocked it. But then it turned out it's nice.
There, now we can.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Now you can really see it good. So
Yeah, that's beautiful.
anyway, that was cool. That was cool. So it's been fun. It's been fun. So I've got them all, and then I'm working on. I'll show you the little dinky swatch that because I have all these little swatches that I do while I'm learning something, and this one is the slip stitch pattern that I chose. So that one's kind of cool. And it's where you carry some of your floats on the front and some of them you do on the back. And so it gives it a very different look.
Oh, that's interesting.
It is an interesting one. It was out of one of the Harmony guides. So that's what I've been doing.
Wow, congratulations.
Do they tell you what to do, or can you pick your own texture
For
thing?
some of the swatches, they tell you exactly what you're supposed to do. And like for the double knitting one, they give you the actual pattern and say, do it like this. For a bunch of the others, they say, like the first 6, it's kind of like, okay, you've got to choose a cast on and a bind off that, will work well together, that aren't the same as any of the other ones that you use. And you've got to do central double decreases or something and do it. And they'll say, every whatever row. And so they tell you that much, and they tell you how much you cast on and bind off, but you have to choose the other parts for it. Now for the for the smocking, for the smocking, the slip stitch, for the mosaic, all those, you're supposed to choose a stitch and you have to write the pattern and do that yourself. So some of those is kind of like you look through your books and figure out what you want and come up with it and make
The
it.
interesting thing about the smocking sample, they say choose a smocking stitch and do a swatch, right? And I reviewed quite a few in the 2 years I was on the review committee, and every one of them looked the same. It made me wonder if there was another smocking stitch.
There actually, I found one other, but it's like I wasn't going to do it because I didn't think it was I didn't like it as much. It was done on one ribbon. And so you had to kind of adjust it a little different. And it didn't have the stretch. It didn't have the look. But it was a smocking stitch that you did on one rib because normally you're smocking between, you've got 2 knits, 2 purls, 2 knits, and you're taking those 6 stitches and squishing them together. You're wrapping those 6. And you think about it, if it's just knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, and you're doing it with your knits, and you're going to have it, it's off kilter. It's just different. Because you've got to have some stitches in between to make it show up.
Yeah.
You can't just stick them right on top of one another.
We have just a few minutes left. Who else has something to show us?
Here's my sock with Ron's yarn, but I'm not very far. I was gonna do the heel, but I started over again. So this is it's just a heel, the heel flap one.
Oh.
This is taking me forever because I make boo-boos, but okay.
Very cute.
That's with the Anzula yarn from Ron's store. I forgot that squishy.
That's their figurine merino cashmere.
Yeah, it's beautiful stuff. Will you reinforce the purl stitches for the heels on that one?
No, I don't think so. I've never had that problem, but I never had a sock that had any cashmere in it either.
Yeah. They last more than you think they will. They're pretty, yeah.
And squishy has a nice tight twist in it. I just value it as a sock knitting, like sock yarn, I think. Calliope, the owner of Anzula, has been very careful about cultivating that like perfect twist in that line.
Has anyone ever compared the number of stitches to knit a pair of socks versus how far you would get in a sweater?
Someone must have.
Yeah, if you put a pair of socks on zeros, you can make a sweater on 8s.
On
I would
8s?
think. Yeah, I would think it's got to be really close.
I had just assumed it would be close, or maybe like minus a sleeve or something like that. But
yeah, I mean, you could do the math. You could take what the gauge is, and how many stitches you are around, and how many rows you have through the sock, and you could figure out how many stitches it is.
I'll bet Roxanne Richardson has done it.
I bet she has. Got a spreadsheet for everything.
That would be good to know, because so many people won't do a sweater because they think it's too big a project.
Yeah.
And I keep saying, no, it's really not. I don't do socks very often, but I think these socks took me as long as it does to do a sweater.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
I have knit 2 and crocheted 1 sock in my yarn career. Not for me.
I take it the one crocheted sock was not your favorite. You didn't do the second one.
I didn't do the second of other knit ones either.
Oh.
They were two non-matching sample socks.
I have probably knit a dozen socks. I just love making socks.
Yes.
Yeah.
No one I like enough to knit socks for wears socks.
Yeah, up here in the north.
Really just me and my mother, and we're sandal people.
Yeah.
Or barefoot people. I currently have bare feet.
Uh,
and a sheep head.
At least your head is warm.
It's incredibly.
Lose your head, lose heat through your head.
You don't have to worry about that in Bakersfield.
It's in the 60s this week.
Oh,
cool.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Debbie, have we even got above freezing in February? Maybe.
Oh gosh, no.
Yeah, no.
No, and they just keep dumping snow on us, so
Right, we're getting more
yeah.
tonight.
yeah.
When the first week of February was in the mid 70s, that's also distressing in its own way.
yeah.
I was
Yeah, a
thrilled
little
we got
bit.
to 17 today.
Yes.
We
it was
had
like a
snow
heat
the
wave.
last 2 days.
Yeah.
17 degrees. I was like, oh, I could walk the dog with only one coat.
I don't have to
It's
change.
gotten that time, everybody. I really appreciate you coming, and another wonderful meeting. Thank you all for sharing and for being here.
Thank you.
I will not be here
Thank
next
you.
week, but I will be thinking of you all.
Why, thank you very much.
Okay. Bye, Debbie.
Bye.
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 Everyone.